You can say it's the toughest opposition Angola have encountered, not only in this edition, but in the 2024 edition as well, in Nelson Mandela Bay. And South Africa do have one distinct advantage, that being the hosts, playing with home ground advantage. Ocon did score in this competition already in the group stages against Zimbabwe. As Cipriano comes out, Ocon did score a header, nearly doing so in one of the most important matches of his life so far. It's yet to be determined where the big number 5, where the big centre-half will be playing his club football next season. Radiopane gives it to Dlamini. Dlamini gives it to Sibelebele. And then Dlamini off to McCarthy. Banja finds Pedro Francisco. Wise play from Ngonyama. South Africa will know that Angola were bold and beautiful in the semi-finals, sweeping aside a potential banana skin in the shape of Madagascar. 2 penalty decisions went their way, and the other 2 goals in that match were very pleasing on the eye. And South Africa have made a pleasing start to this final. Radiopane could see what he was trying to do. Moralo with a quick one-touch. Sibelebele now. Cuts on the inside. Sibelebele goes for it and goes wide. They are in good spirits. They are anticipating a good final, backing the home horse. Another look at that opportunity. Might have glanced off Ocon a little bit, and then it came off the head, I think, of Luis da Silva as well. No, just off Ocon. Looked as if it was top corner bound, not to be. And there will be passages and phases in this match in which South Africa are on top, and then Angola will be on top as well. That's just the nature of cup finals. And high on the South African priority list is to completely nullify Aurelio Depu, which is a near impossible feat, but let's see if they can do it. Sibelebele, he's got pace to burn. Can't find the pass, however, to Radiopane. Always offers a threat in behind, as Radiopane and Sibelebele as well. And up until the semi-final stage, South Africa didn't score 3 goals. They were guilty of missing major chances in the group stage, but certainly not in the semi-finals against Comoros. And the story of the semi-finals were major nations proving too powerful for the 2 island nations. If you missed it, Comoros picked up the bronze medal by defeating Madagascar by 1-0. That match kick-started at 12 o'clock. The perfect appetizer for this final right here. Dlamini does well to spin out of trouble. He's pulled back, but he's going to continue. Great run. And the referee does call it back for a South African free kick, and rightfully so, when Victor Pedro escapes the crime scene, hoping that he's not going to get booked, but he is going to get booked, is Victor Pedro.
Light.
No, it was Luis da Silva. Victor Pedro also definitely had a nibble. Be it as it may, Luis da Silva, the first one to have his name taken in the referee's black book. The referee being Brighton Chimene of Zimbabwe. The opening half hour has been gripping, intriguing, but still scoreless.
Thank you. Obrigado.
South Africa's designated free kick taker, set piece specialist. Moralo is in charge of this one once more.
Like. Quem não
Luis da
deixou
Silva
like?
is just maybe saying to the referee it wasn't him, it was Victor
O
Pedro.
like.
So initially I was
Angola
correct.
vai
It was
perder.
Victor
O like.
Nanku Pedro that
Quem
committed the
suporta
foul
Angola deixa o like.
on
Quem
Dlamini.
está a apoiar outro
Not once, but
clube,
twice.
angolanos
So the
like.
referee just got it wrong, and it's good to see
Angolanos
that he
like.
rectified himself. Moralo goes in. And Angola take it out. Letlapa back in there, back into the danger zone. Radio Pane with a snapshot. But his snapshot is blocked. That's a handball, should be. Seemed to have hit the arm of Sibelebele. No
O
whistle.
like. Deixa like, angolanos. Vamos apoiar Angola.
Excellent pressure applied on Nteka. Nothing that he could have done there. Puso de Tejane urged to take the throw in by the
Angolano.
referee, and so he does.
Deixa like.
Here is the
Apoia teu
Tias
país.
with a clever nutmeg, conjuring up a clever free kick, using all of his football wit. Puso de Tejane.
Muito bem, sim, sim. Angolanos apoiarem Angola. Fenomenal. Compatriotas de verdade.
Clear foul,
Com a pátria estamos unidos.
right in front of the
Estamos unidos
linesman.
mesmo, é a pátria. Juntos conseguimos.
Angola have
Juntos,
already
todos
committed
juntos
15
mesmo. Nós
fouls against
conseguimos
South
e estamos a
Africa.
conseguir.
Against South Africa's 3.
Estamos a conseguir sim. Nós estamos a
And of the
conseguir.
15 fouls, 1 was a punishable offence.
Quem ainda não deixou o like, copie aqueles que já deixaram fundamentais e grandiosos.
And Dlamini
Sejam.
weighs up his options. Might decide to sneak it in. Will he look for Ocon again? Dlamini, it's a bit lower, it's a bit shallow, and it's easy for Angola. Chance for Sibelebele. Very ambitious, very unlikely, but worthy of a go.
Angolanos que ainda não deixaram like, deixam like para apoiar a pátria. Apoia o teu país. Faça igual os que deixaram like. Apoia. Fundamental. O teu like apoia. Caso sejas angolano, deixa o like. Se não és angolano, ignora. Muito fácil ignorar. Se não és angolano, ignora. Apenas angolano deixam likes. Sem preconceito, mas só angolanos deixam like. Se não és angolano, tudo bem. Mas se fores angolano e não estás a deixar o like, o teu coração vê.
Pedro Francisco goes to Depu. Depu wins it. Konyama clears South Africa's lines. That's a useful touch by Radio Pane, and Sibelebele can set off here. But he's trapped. Very cleverly so by Abel Fernando. So South Africa have just assumed the driving seats in recent times in this match. Pendulum has swung, and it could easily swing again.
Angola vai ganhar. Quem apoia Angola deixa like.
Down there. He won't be afforded much time on the ball as a centre half in this kind of game with hungry attackers like Nteka, Aurelio Depu and Antonio Salvador. Mistake. Saw South Africa profit off a Comoros mistake in the semi-finals. That was nearly rinse and repeat. And as you can see there, the possession has shifted, momentum has shifted. And like the South Africans, the Angolans got better and better as the competition went on. Not many teams can outplay Malawi and Namibia, and they did. Not many teams can smash Lesotho and Madagascar, but Angola did. They've played with the aura of a defending champion. But their throne is being fiercely contested this afternoon. Let's see what they can offer from this free kick. South Africa have had a number of chances in the last few minutes. Now it is Angola's turn. And it's a wild free kick, going directly out of play. Boatu Mananga displeased with that delivery. Goal kick won't be taken by the goalkeeper, but it does land at the feet of Mbanja. That's too easy, but South Africa still have possession. Moralo. Ocon. Kusodetejane opting not even to challenge in the air. Well, won by Nkize. That's dogged stuff. Over the top by Ditejane. Just a little bit too much for Radio Pane, who might sneak in behind. But the Cruz Cipriano laying claim. Great play from Nkize initially, and then the scooped ball over the top from Ditejane, and then the goalkeeper misjudged the situation that ever so slightly. But got away with it. Did Da Cruz Cipriano. Chance there for Salvador. Did score in the last round for Angola. Had a really good game against Madagascar. And he opted to have a go from a rather acute angle. And Mbanja just needed to make sure. Ditejane with a heavy touch. But he's persistent. He never stops. Sibelebele lashing back against Pedro Francisco. He needs to be careful. Vela Kumalo is giving a tongue lashing, I think, to the goalkeeper or to one of his defenders. Radio Pane wins it. No one busting a gut to get in behind. Ocon beaten in the air. Aurelio Depu. Nteka Gonyama went to ground. Crucially, got a touch on the ball. Moralo. Ditejane is also a speedy customer. But Abel Fernando did well enough for Angola. He has been sharp defensively for this game. Didn't start the semi-final, but he starts today. And it's always tricky when you face up against speedy attackers, tricky attackers as a defender. And we can already see why the Angolans went through so many set-piece routines during their warm-up routine. They've had chances and they've also had to defend a lot of South African deliveries into the box. Let's see what can come of this one from Dlamini. That looks dangerous. Sibelebele gets it on the edge of the box again. Wide open here though. McCarthy won the header, but the offside flag went up. Not against McCarthy, I think, but for the player that distributed the ball back into the box. The player that was the South African captain in Gonyama, one centre-half to another. Not much left of this first half. And yes, there may have been no goals so far, but that doesn't mean it hasn't been a gripping final so far. This is often the outcome between two evenly matched teams. Pedro Francisco. Tejane misreading the situation. Teka.
O like, quem não
Breezes
deixou,
beyond
deixa o
Tejane.
like.
Dangerous
É
delivery. McCarthy
fundamental
did
o teu
ever so
like.
well. He was in an uncompromising position. Moralo commits a foul, affords a free kick chance to Angola, who have just played with a little bit more purpose. Well, they've started to play with a little bit more purpose in the recent minutes. But he's yet to be truly tested. Is Mbanjwa. Can't afford to lose your man in this kind of situation. You lose him, and you go a goal behind. It's not going to be Manuel. Pedro Francisco, good ball in! Mbanjwa beaten, Angola strike, and guess who it is? Aurelio Depu scores his 7th goal of this year's COSAFA Cup. He is absolutely addicted to goal scoring, and he scores another vital goal for the Black Sable Antelopes.
Não deixaste o teu like ainda.
Aurelio Depu scored in last year's final against the
morras.
Brave Warriors, and he draws first blood for Angola in this final. For the most part, they have been second best, but this is why they are defending champions. Poor marking from the South Africans. Emphatic finishing by the ultimate COSAFA Cup finisher. Untouchable. And now South Africa slightly demoralized. They looked good. They looked sturdy enough up until that point. And now they are forced to come from behind. I mentioned that the first most important task for South Africa in this game was to keep Aurelio Depu quiet. And this Bafana Bafana quote-unquote B team have failed to do so. The opener provided by Angola's ever-reliable Aurelio Depu. Here's Antonio Salvador. Now South Africa just need to survive this Angolan onslaught. Get into half-time, still very much in the contest. They can't afford to concede another before the break. As for Angola, they just want to shore up their lead. Mbanjwa rolls it out to Aiden McCarthy. What can come of this? Dlamini, Sibelebele gets there first, gets there ahead of Abel Fernando, still has it. He's got endless energy reserves. Kabelo Dlamini. South Africa really need to find him more often. He needs to avail himself more often, as does Ditejane. But such an industrious player, Moralo, goes for it. Did come off him last in any case, but he did foul Abel Fernando.
Por favor,
And just
deixa teu
120
like.
seconds left on the clock, left in this first half. South Africa are going to have to produce a heroic display in the second half. It was always going to take a monumental effort to dethrone the defending COSAFA Cup kings. Nteka. Ocon just shoves him to one side. Good strength, good shepherding work by Ocon. Ocon and McCarthy are the present and the future of the South African defence, albeit that Ocon does hold dual Nigerian citizenship. Manuel. Pedro Francisco, he's had a good game, and he's tackled. I think it was from Sibelebele. And another really good opportunity this is on the brink of half-time for Angola. Yellow card to South Africa's attacker in form. Kamogelo Sibelebele. And you wonder now who might take this free kick for Angola. Aurelio Depu will be fancying his chances. Might favour the left boot of Pedro Francisco. Maybe even Manuel. Who's listening closely to his captain. And this will be the final passage of play of the first 45. And as I mentioned, goal number 7 in this tournament for Lorindo Aurelio Depu. Got a brace in the semi-finals. And he's already made an impact in the showpiece final. He's a history maker for Angola. And Angola themselves are seeking to create a slice of history. To become only the 4th nation in the COSAFA Cup to retain their title, to go back to back. Manuel here against Dlamini. The referee stares at his watch and decides he has seen enough. We have seen enough for the first 45. A very interesting first 45 it was between the defending champions and the hosts, South Africa, who did hit the woodwork after Dlamini found the head of Ime Ocon. Big second half display required, and they are going to need to sort out a few things. Now the South Africans, as for the Angolans, they are on course to achieve a historic repeat and to defend their title. And Dlamini is tapping into the mindset of his colleagues. So is Buatu Mananga. It's far from over. It's going to be a riveting second half. Angola 1, South Africa 0. It's a picturesque, beautiful day in the City of Roses, and it's been a blossoming final. And Angola have taken the lead despite only having 32% of the ball. Let's see how the second half shall unfold. that have captured a crucial advantage against Villa Khumalo's South African unit that have to pull off a comeback victory in the second half. But Angola have cemented their status as favourites, especially after that opener from their perennial top goal scorer, Aurelio Depu. Biggest crowd of the competition so far. An expectant crowd on Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. No better way to celebrate it and with some more football splendor. And I do wish to remind you that if South Africa are to force an equalizer, if they are to find it within themselves to capture an equalizer against Angola, and it ends all square after 90, then we will head into extra time. 15 minutes a half for extra time before we head into a penalty shootout. So we aren't just going to go straight into a penalty shootout if it ends all square. There is extra time on standby, but Angola don't want to take the game there. And you can argue neither do South Africa. And we'll just have to wait and see how this second half unfolds. South Africa had most of the ball during the opening period. But can they do more with it in the second period? As the second half gets underway, South Africa trailing the defending champions Angola by a single goal to nil. Quick start. Dlamini to nearly to Puso Ditejane, should I say. Villa Khumalo would have tried to instill as much motivation during that halftime team talk. That's a great cutback from Letlapa, a volley cross after a wonderful switch from Dlamini from the opposite side. Now he avails himself on the left. There's no doubt that South Africa, this Bafana group, escaped this year's group of death. 3 nations finished with 4 points in that group, and 1 nation, Mauritius, ended off undefeated with 3 points. But football fate has brought South Africa here. And last year, it was Mozambique that escaped the group of death at the expense of South Africa. Not this time around, not in Bloemfontein. And it seemed as if it was always written in the stars that the hosts were going to face the defending champions. A better final we could have not received. Early corner kick opportunity this is for South Africa. Had one early in the first half. And they've got another in the second. Both teams craving a fast, competent start to the second stanza. If South Africa really wish to make this final extra competitive, they must be the ones that score the next goal. Dlamini's a bit blinded by the sunlight. South Africa's 4th corner of the game. Angola did score from a set piece from a free kick in which Aurelio Depu profited from. And as soon as Dlamini delivered that ball, the referee just halted play. He wants to have a word with Manuel as well as Nkonyama. Indicating that no pushing and shoving and pulling is allowed in the 18-yard area. South Africa seek a response. Can Dlamini provide it? He goes in there, it's out from Nteka. Here's Moralo. To Cabello Dlamini. It looks like a good ball. McCarthy tried his best to flick it on. Here's the South African captain to Ocon. What a stop from the Cruz Cipriano. Or did it go wide? Nonetheless, the two South African centre halves maybe showing their attacking flair, their attacking competency in this match, and it did go wide from Ocon. Not a save from the goalkeeper. Ocon tried to squeeze it in to that bottom right-hand corner. Another chance goes a-begging for the South Africans. McCarthy. Good ingenuity initially by Ocon. And then he got away with it because it is a South African throw. The Angolans didn't get the message. Pedro Francisco did not get the message. Clipped the heels that ever so slightly of Nteka did Ocon. And towards the end of the second half, South Africa's front man, Radiopane, started to become less and less involved for the South Africans. And conversely, the Angolan front man, Aurelio Depu, started to become more and more involved for the Angolans. Going direct this time around, directly towards Radiopane. Dlamini. Not to be. Ocon in the back of Nteka. Nteka gives it to Luis da Silva. Can only offer an up and under. It's a poor giveaway by Moralo. Not having his best of games this afternoon. Was guilty of giving that free kick away that produced the Angolan opener. No free kick that time around for the Black Sable Antelopes. McCarthy. Great ball from McCarthy. And Radiopane just simply needs to keep on running the channels, asking the questions from Buatu Mananga. And speaking of Buatu Mananga, the Angolan captain really has had an interesting life story. He was born in Belgium 31 years ago, and he performed for the Belgian under-17, under-18 and under-19 team before making his debut for Angola 11 years ago. That is Buatu Mananga. Mkize. Dlamini on the turn. Dlamini with the pass towards Letlapa. And he wasn't to know Manuel Gaspar. Which is why he just touched the ball behind. Wise thing to do. Cautious thing to do. And Dlamini has another chance to deliver, although Moralo has come across. Corner after corner for South Africa. But Angola are as good defending their set pieces as they are attacking them. Moralo towards the far post, over the head of everyone, including McCarthy, but it lands for McCarthy. Now Ditejane. South Africa get a throw. Ditejane wants it back. He wants the ball from Manuel, who eventually obliges. Letlapa. Another deep delivery. Moralo shaping up for the shot. Mkize. Hangs it up there. It's going to fall for Letlapa. The left back popping up as a right back. Imeokon. Not the greatest of passes to Ditejane. Didn't have the necessary delicacy, but South Africa still have it. Dlamini has got it. Ditejane fell to the ground in the hopes of the referee intervening, which he did. Puso Ditejane is a 20-year-old you must be on the lookout for. His skill set was carved in Naturena and refined in Mbombela. Another direct Dlamini delivery incoming. Gives the signal. Dlamini whips it in there towards Letlapa, but it was headed out by the Angolan captain Buatu Mananga. Realizes the magnitude of the task that lies ahead for him and his defense. And he's always so shrewd at the back, is their captain. Corner number 6 for South Africa. They really are starting to rack them up. In front of all the cameras. Can Moralo produce what South Africa needs him to produce? Much better delivery that time around. Gonyama. Good ball from Gonyama, and then a strike from Letlapa is ball locked. Dlamini and then Letlapa again. More hopeful than anything else. That was a real tester for the Angolans. Ocon was just off-balanced. Felicio João Mendes is going to come on to replace Randy Nteka. His tournament is over. And he's not happy being substituted so early into the second half, is Nteka. Scored that crucial goal in the group stage, had a good semi-final display, but as did this man, Felicio João Mendes. Also known as Milson. Strong header. Sibelebele takes it well. Mkhize. Wise play from Mkhize. Just to turn his back on the opposition, to wait for contact and to go to ground. And it was from this kind of position that Angola were able to offer the opener to draw first blood in this final. It was an inch-perfect delivery from Pedro Francisco. A left-footed outswinger that landed on the head of Aurelio Depu. Now Dlamini is hoping to do the same. Or maybe Moralo. Radio Pane is clearly in an offside position. But that's just a tactical ploy. A decoy. Dlamini runs over it. Moralo whips it in. Good delivery from Moralo. Better than good. It was exquisite. No finishing touch applied. They could not have asked for a better delivery than that. Gonyama was closest to it, and it might have just flicked the top of his head. It did. So that will go down as a real chance for the South Africans. A real chance. And this occasion, this COSAFA Cup final marks the 6th time that Angola have co-starred in a COSAFA Cup final. And of their previous 5 appearances, they have only lost 1 final before today. Here's João Milson Mendes. Titejane loves that skill move. Does the TS Galaxy forward, does the South African forward. Radiopane. Radiopane carries on. Radio Man is yet to tune into the frequency of some of the other South African attackers. Dlamini. Aiden McCarthy urged to shoot from the crowd. It was a window of opportunity to let fly. Etlapa managed to squeeze a really good ball to Aiden McCarthy, but it just came at McCarthy a bit too quickly for his liking. But expect McCarthy to be venturing into those kind of positions. The centre half will just look to offer another option. And in respect to South Africa's COSAFA Cup final record, this is the nation's 6th COSAFA Cup final appearance. Just like Angola, but unlike Angola, South Africa have never lost a final of this kind before. But they find themselves trailing as things currently stand. Titejane. Zambanjwa never looked comfortable, but he manages a good ball out. Does Zambanjwa? Titejane is playing from the left-hand side now. Letlapa was beaten, and then he fell to the ground. And while he was on his way to the ground, he committed the foul. Just over there. Manuel. He's got exquisite close control. Does Manuel? And he wanted the pass and he's received it. Luis da Silva. Salvador gets there beyond McCarthy. Salvador tees it up, and Angola have doubled their advantage. Again, against a run of play, and again, Aurelio Depu. You cannot stop him. He is as dangerous as they come. And now Angola have taken one huge step towards claiming yet another COSAFA Cup title. Manuel, the orchestrator, Salvador, was slipped through. And wonderful movement in the box by Aurelio Depu. He's always on the move in the box. And the South African defenders were at 6s and 7s, stationary. And he is ruthless. A Harry Kane-like celebration for a Harry Kane-like finish. And South Africa switched off at the back again. And now their task has increased tenfold in difficulty. It's unbelievable to think that Aurelio Depu has scored 8 goals in this competition. Remember, he's already conjured up a hat-trick against Lesotho in this competition in the group stages. And in response, Velo Kumalo is going to introduce a substitution. Sanele Barnes in for Letlapa. And considering that South Africa have had so many set-piece chances, so many corner kick chances, they just don't have the necessary focal point up top. But they are checking this goal of VAR for an offside. That looks close. The lines will be drawn. And the goal does stand, to the dismay of this Bafana Bafana team, of all the South Africans in this ground and watching from all around the region. Dlamini. South Africa do play some pretty and beautiful football at times, but they just don't have that cutting edge in the box. The big match COSAFA Cup temperament that Angola possess. But it's not over just yet. But that's exactly what Angola, what their coach Pedro Gonçalves would have wanted.
Deixa o seu like se está a apoiar Angola. Quem apoia Angola, deixa um like agora mesmo o zinho. O like para quem apoia Angola, fundamental. Apoia Angola, deixa o like. Não apoia?
Which it is, but you would much rather want to be in the camp of Angola. It's a game of fine margins. Angola winning those 5 margins. Moralo. Dlamini was a good steal from Ocon. Radio Pane. Dlamini urged to shoot, goes for the curler and curls it straight down the throat of Da Cruz Cipriano. And maybe that's the way to go. Try something out of the ordinary, something that Angola don't anticipate. And 4 of South Africa's 5 triumphs in this competition have occurred on their home South African soil. In 2016, the South Africans were victorious in Namibia. In 2021, they made their home advantage count again. But so far, they are second best in Bloemfontein. They are still seeking their first COSAFA Cup title in 4 years. South Africa, might that wait be extended? Seems like it will be, as things stand. And Velo Kumalo needs his bench now to muster up a comeback of note. Manuel just taking a knock to the shin/knee. And there was the check. The lines were drawn. McCarthy adjudged to have played. Antonio Salvador onside, who showed great awareness.
Apoia Angola, deixa o like. Quem apoia Angola, deixa o like. Não apoia Angola.
Here's the target man, the focal point maybe that South Africa need. He replaces Kabelo Dlamini. And you would think taking the place of Dlamini or in the Dlamini role,
Apoia Angola, Os palancas negras, deixa um like. Quem apoia Angola, deixa um like. Quem não apoia, não deixa o like. Você apoia Angola ou não? Valeu o like. Apoia Angola? Sim, eu vi. Não apoia o like? Entendeu? Quem não apoia Angola, não deixa. Se você apoia Angola, faz sentido. Quem já fez, sim. Quem não fez, não apoia Angola. Quem apoia, deixa o like. Faz sentido. Não apoia Angola.
First touch of the ball for Shabalala. It's a good touch. The second one was a good one as well. Funny thing about Aurelio Depu, apart from his 2 goals, he's hardly touched the ball. But here he goes. Can he produce an assist this time around? He's hardly touched the ball all game long, and yet he scored 2 goals. Sanele Barnes, in the meantime. Shabalala, dispossessed. How about that for a sliding tackle? Three players in the box here for South Africa. The delivery doesn't find either of them. Another cross. Seems like South Africa are playing with 2 men up top. Radio Pane and Litswalo. Sanele Barnes supplying the width. Apart from last year's final, which ended in a resounding triumph for Angola, apart from that final, COSAFA Cup finals have always tended to be as close as can be. 4 of the last 6 finals were decided by just 1 decisive strike. And 2 of the last 6 finals ventured beyond the designated 90 minutes. But Angola sorting to wrap this one up in the designated 90. But there's still a flicker, a glimmer of hope for the South African unit. Salvador's on the move. Depu 2. Silva with a soft touch.
Apoia Angola? Deixa um like. Você não apoia Angola? Apoia, deixa um like. Não apoia?
Angola have this Bafana group exactly where they want them. Shabalala. It's good stuff from Shabalala. Sanele Barnes. McCarthy. And Sanele Barnes signaling to McCarthy. He wants him closer to the box maybe. Moralo. Across to the right-hand side. Here is Moralo. So good! Oh, what a strike! What an attempt from Radio Pane, and the save of the highest caliber. And he can't believe his luck. The delivery was good enough. The strike was incredibly difficult to pull off, and Radio Pane did. Great technique. And a greater save by the Cruz Cipriano, who's fired up. Nothing coming from that corner kick either. Angola firing on all cylinders, up top and right at the back. He was onside, was Radio Pane. Displayed great technique to force the save out of Da Cruz Cipriano. Not much he could have done else. But that was a save of note. Sloppy there from Abel Fernando. Kize. He puts it into the box. Manuel meets it. Moralo. Letsoalo opens up some space. Does reach Letsoalo Kupol from him. Radio Pane now. Can he tee someone up? Shabalala. This time a much more simpler save for Da Cruz Cipriano. Swift move again from the South Africans, stemming from a Abel Fernando
Deixou o like, vai receber milhões. Não deixou o like, não apoia Angola. Apoia Angola, deixa um like. Você que já vi, vai receber milhões. Valeu. Você apoia Angola? O like, se apoia. Não apoia o teu país? Ignora. Apoia Angola, sinaliza. Não apoia? Ignora. Apoia, sinaliza. Sinaliza, sinaliza. Apoia. Apoia.
The biggest winning margin ever in a COSAFA Cup final.
Não apoia?
And they have been just as menacing this afternoon, and they are going to make
Você não apoia.
a double substitution.
Não dá deixar.
Simayo
O like.
started the semi-final. He'll get a run, as will Miguel, who scored against Madagascar, scored the fourth and final goal for Angola in the last round, and he took it with aplomb. And look at Pedro Francisco, slowly making his way off the field of play. Excellent shift from Pedro Francisco, and it's a like-for-like change at left back. Francisco off, Simayo on. So changes aplenty. McCarthy hangs his head in shame. Angola can now reach out and touch it. They can smell another COSAFA Cup title. And it's going to require something really special from the South Africans to upset the odds right now. Salvador and then Aurelio Depu. Wasn't quite sure what to do with that one. Ocon wants someone to come deeper. Letsoalo is the one to come deeper for South Africa. And before this COSAFA Cup, Letsoalo last played for South Africa in that Chan qualification tournament in which he was really influential. He needs to show that same kind of influence today. Radio Pane caught on his heels. Caught ball watching. True leader, Buatu Mananga is a player with a tremendous amount of national team and club experience. Moralo wins the free kick. The School of Excellence and the Supersport United Academy offered Moralo his opportunity. An opportunity is snatched at with both hands. And look at him now. On one of the biggest stages, the biggest regional stage on offer. Simayo. Gonyama. Every single outfield player for South Africa in the half of Angola. Shabalala with a loose pass. Salvador shows great composure. Here is the brace getter, Aurelio Depu. Salvador fouled on the edge of the box. The relationship, the telepathic understanding between Aurelio Depu and Antonio Salvador is there for all to see. The passing, the movement, the finishing. Something that South Africa don't quite have at the same level of the Angolans. And another goal, a third goal, would seal the deal emphatically and triumphantly for Angola. And the big centre half might take this one, Victor Pedro. Ever since Victor Pedro made his debut for Petro de Luanda in 2023, his performance levels for his country has skyrocketed. Could be him, it could be João Mendes. It remains to be seen. Big wall for the South Africans. And it's right on the edge of the box. So it's going to require some ingenuity and intelligence and a soft touch. Mbanja wants Bonds on the other side of the wall, covering all kinds of angles. Is it going to be enough to seal the deal, to seal another COSAFA Cup title? Ha-ha! Wow! What a way to do so! They are sailing to back-to-back COSAFA Cup triumphs. Angola are writing a special chapter in their history. And it's Felicio João Milson Mendes that gets on the score sheet in sublime fashion. It required nous and precision. And that was it. A gap in the South African wall. I thought they had all angles covered. They should have had all angles covered. Right through the wall. Sanele Bonds wasn't tucked in close enough. And because of that, Angola are likely to defend their COSAFA Cup crown. Ramabu comes on to make his second appearance of this COSAFA Cup. Nemtajela has also been introduced. 2 attackers for 2 defenders. And I wish to remind you that Angola are just 1 COSAFA Cup victory away from equaling their longest unbeaten streak ever. If they win this one, they would have gone, which they are likely to do, they would have gone 10 games unbeaten in the COSAFA Cup. 10 games unbeaten in a knockout tournament. That is tremendous. Ocon. Now South Africa require a flurry of goals. They've been so good to watch in the middle, right up until they reach the box, and then all things fade away. For Angola, they come alive when they... And this is where we are at. 3-0 to the defending champs. Ramabu. Gonyama has tried that ball a few times in this match. And that was always destined to be well wide from Ramabu. It's headed back into danger by Ocon. South Africa are crumbling, falling apart here in the final stages. But that's not to say his team have played badly today. Most of this match, they've been the better team. They've played the better football. But they just don't have the same quality in the box. It's as simple, it's as cut and dry as that. And Angola are set-piece focused. They know how to defend set pieces. They know how to attack set pieces. They are a well-rounded outfit. But this has been one of the better campaigns we've seen from South Africa in recent years, since they won this competition in 2021. Here's Radio Pane. A scuffer. A creepy crawly and a disappointing outcome for him and for South Africa. Abel Fernando. Gonyama. And another huge glaring difference between these two teams is that the substitutes have been more promising and powerful and potent. The likes of Mduduzi Shabalala, Nemta Jela, Ramabu, Sanele Barnes have been quiet since they've been introduced. And in all of their meetings put together, South Africa have scored only 3 goals against Angola across 7 matches, while the Black Sable Antelopes have scored 14 goals against the South Africans over the years, which is stupendous. Hossi would have counted himself unlucky not to start this match. Same applies to Miguel. But whether they start or whether they come off the bench, the motivation remains sky high for these Black Sable Antelopes. Everyone fighting towards one unified cause. And they are close to celebrating. Heading back to Luanda with yet another COSAFA Cup title. Ocon to Let's Swallow. Radio Pane. It's just not their day. It simply comes down to that. And just the 4 minutes left of this COSAFA Cup final, the hosts have been outperformed. And yes, maybe the 3-0 scoreline might not tell the full tale of this final, because South Africa really have been competitive in this match, but they just haven't been able to keep up with the Black Sable Antelopes. And it's quite a statement to defeat the hosts on their home ground in front of their home supporters in a final. João Mendes. Hossi is wide open. Barnes reads it and intervenes. Sibelebele. Ramabu. It's a consolation now that South Africa seek. And they will be losing COSAFA Cup finalists for the first time, bridesmaids for the first time in this competition, which will be a bitter pill to swallow. But there's most definitely a lot of positives they can retrieve from this COSAFA Cup, especially escaping the group of death, the Group A that featured Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Mauritius, and then overcoming a tricky Comoros team in the semi-finals, but they have come unstuck against Angola here. And as for Angola, they have absolutely loved their time in South Africa of late. They always relish the opportunity to return to this country and to perform in this country. And interestingly enough, the last nation to defeat Angola on South African soil was the mighty Mauritian Minnows in 2023 in the group stages. And they achieved the feat in KwaMashu. But in Bloemfontein, Angola have been perfect. Here's Sanele Barnes, however, out for a corner. Barnes, corner number 8 for SA. 8th corner in a row Angola have dealt with. Just the 60 seconds left. 60 seconds of agony for the South Africans. And 60 seconds to soak up all of the joy and the occasion for Angola. Sibelebele takes a touch too far. Antonio Salvador. Can they end it off on a resounding note? Waits for support. Does Salvador? And he's going to take it to the corner flag. He's going to tease the South Africans. Waiting for the final whistle, waiting to celebrate, and there it is. Angola have done it again. A historic repeat has been achieved. Aurelio Depu scoring 2 goals in this COSAFA Cup final, and that is why he is the man of the match. But all of their players, the starting 11 and the bench, were quite literally exquisite, not only in this match, but all competition long. And as for the South Africans, disappointment indeed. They fought hard, they fought tirelessly in the first half. They had their moments. In the beginning of the second half, they had their chances as well. But Angola are simply a cut above the rest. They arrived in the City of Roses with confidence as defending champions, and they will leave the City of Roses as champions of the COSAFA Cup once again. And this is how they did it. The first goal from Aurelio Depu was from a direct free kick, and then the second was a well-constructed move down the right-hand side. Salvador found Aurelio Depu for number 2. And then number 3 followed shortly after. What a sterling job Pedro Gonçalves has done with this Angolan team. A lot to be proud about for the South Africans. They were eliminated in the group stage last year, ventured all the way to the finals. But Angola in a different stratosphere. Ones to watch out for. And they'll be chasing COSAFA Cup number 3 in a row next year. Something that has never been achieved in the 24-year history of this competition. And Buta and all the rest of the South African supporters still in good voice, pleased with the fight that they saw from their team today. It's a day to remember. Another COSAFA Cup campaign to remember for the Black Sable Antelopes. And it ends after full time. Angola have gone and done it yet again, beating South Africa by 3-0, converting half of their goal attempts. And as you can see, South Africa had more of the ball, but it was Angola that were more productive and far more cutthroat.
Joining us now is the coach of South Africa, Coach Vela Khumalo. Coach, not exactly what you wished for, losing 3-0 against the defending champions. Just your thoughts on the match?
Look, I think we played a good team. Congratulations to them. It tells you that they're a little bit, that it's their first team, I think, and they played very well. Congratulations to them. And coming back to the game itself, I think the game we played against Comoros took a little bit of energy around us. We were not really energetic, but we spoke about their set places where they are going to score from standard situations, and they did exactly that. And it was all about lapse of concentration from our boys, but I cannot falter them now. It's gone, it's done, it's dusted. We have silver, we wanted to have gold. It's one of those things that we take and go.
And looking at the game, I mean, you did everything right except score.
Yeah, we tried. Yeah. We tried really. We wanted to be even more offensive, played more attacking players, but the energy was somehow depleted because of the game we played, which is not an excuse, but we take silver, like I'm saying, we take silver, and then we go, it's okay.
Obviously, there are some lessons learned looking at the entire tournament.
No, good lessons. I think it was a good exposure for our boys. I think Hugo Bruce saw them now, and he can make decision on them. We had quality, we had talented team, we played very well, and it is up to the coach to see who he can pick. One or two in this team, I think they will beef up in the senior Bafana Bafana.
And lastly, I mean, bombing out in the first round last time out, but now playing in the final, that must be also an achievement in itself.
Look, from not qualifying for some time, I think it's been 4 years of not really going to the knockout stages. And we were so looking forward to go for the gold this time around. But we played a very solid team, a team that will know how to win games. And for me, it is a big achievement for the boys. And getting silver is good for us, it's okay.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And with us now is the winning coach, coach of Angola, Coach Pedro Soares Gonçalves. Coach, congratulations. Very good game you played. Your thoughts on the match?
Well, thanks God. Congrats to the players. What a heart, what a passion in the pitch. It was that what I searching for. That kind of matches, that kind of atmosphere. And we conquer our goal. So congrats to the players, congrats to all the staff. Amazing. We are crossing a lot of setbacks inside home, but we are always facing with the head up and always fighting for us and for, most of all, for Angola nation. So I wish everybody at home now are celebrating and looking for the other challenge we have in our face front.
And Coach, this is quite an achievement that you were able to defend the trophy.
Yes, I think never happened before, so with us. So yes, it's a kind of feeling we're searching for. So we are brave, we were braves, we fight it, and now we are celebrating.
And you did well playing a South African team that was always putting you under pressure, but you managed.
Yes, we know it, that we planned that because they are too strong. They are a very powerful team, very good in crosses, in duels. But the boys made a wonderful job and make the plan good. So yeah, now it's time to celebrate.
Lastly, coach, after this game, obviously there are more assignments for Angola. But what lessons are you taking from here into the next coming matches?
Yes, that kind of experience we grow. The pitch of COSAFA is doing a wonderful job. But that kind of pitches was damage everything. So please look it, because that boys is not lucky. In next AFCON, COSAFA zone have 7 nations. So the only one in Africa with 7 nations. Look it for our nations, look it for our football. Congratulations to COSAFA, but it's a step further we needed.
Thank you, coach, and congratulations.
Thank you.